you're all going to hate me, but to start this, just for people's nostalgia, because I think that's what this whole trip's about, can we do our YouTube intros? I will start because it's embarrassing enough, but hello one and all. Welcome to Seen Through Glass, even though this is actually a Behind the Glass podcast. Tim.
Hi guys, I'm Shmi, hello, and welcome to Data Monaco.
We should have done each other's.
No, that's so bad.
Really?
Tim does it to me all the time. It doesn't work. Did you ever have an intro?
I had a few, but the one that probably most people would link to is like, "What's up, guys? Welcome to Supercars of London."
Yes.
It was a "What's up, guys?"
Yeah, straight in, Jim Chapman-esque.
What time is it said?
Morning!
Which was often said at about 2 p.m. when Seth actually woke up.
It was his morning.
Yeah, and that's actually how I would start my day off camera. Also, is I'd walk into the room for you guys, morning. And that's
I've got videos that say otherwise.
I have been trying to work out the last time all four of us were on camera together.
Literally like 5 minutes ago.
Most of today, most of yesterday.
Before this trip.
Thank you. Thank you, Seth. Thank you, Seth.
When was the last time we did one of these? Like we did some sort of podcast thing once, no?
Not all four of us. I genuinely think, if you really think, I've been thinking about it quite a lot this whole trip. Yeah, I think the last time all four of us. What are you going to say, Paul?
I wasn't there for Tenerife.
Oh yeah.
Awkward.
That is awkward. The Bentley trip, James was there, you weren't. So I think it would have been top marks like 2016 that all four of us were on camera at the same time.
Yeah.
The audience will know, but
Please find out.
Yeah, in my memory, that's when that was the last time I thought. Obviously, sociably, we've all hung out. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we've all hung out. I don't know the last time all four of us hung out together.
No, there have been moments. It would have been bumping into each other at Goodwood or something like that.
Yes.
At some point.
Go on, Tim's got something.
Abu Dhabi F1 2016.
Surely after that.
There's a few stories we can tell
We
from
did
that
15
trip.
and...
Really?
Well,
Abu Dhabi F1.
2016.
You did like
Isn't
a
that the
yacht
one where
tour.
Trey Songz...
Oh yes,
that is
Kevin
the
Hart.
one,
Yeah.
Weren't we all together?
okay, we're getting distracted. My point being, we haven't been together on camera for a long time. So, listeners, viewers, what a treat. If you haven't clocked what's going on, welcome to a special episode with what we like to call ourselves the OG automotive YouTubers. Maybe it's a bit crass that we do that. Is it a bit sad that we call ourselves the OGs? A little bit.
Whatever. Tony's not here. Sorry, we're replacing Tony today.
Yes, I've already warned them. Don't worry, because a lot of people do like to complain when Tony's not here. Yeah. But if Tony was here, we'd all be in serious trouble, and no one would get a
He'd
word.
be slagging us all off.
It is going to be hard to get words, and there are four of us. But just in case you need a reminder, at the moment, myself, Tim, Shmi150, Paul Supercars of London, Seb Delaney, we are on a trip celebrating the 10-year anniversary of a trip we did 10 years ago, surprisingly.
Which is nuts. I mean, when you first, I can't remember who brought, I think Tim, it was you who brought up the reunion tour.
I think I suggested it with Sam.
Yeah.
We were just having
exactly.
a chit chat. It was like,
And it was
what
like,
about
it's 10 years time. I was like, what? 10 years? It's flown by, hasn't it?
Yeah, I remember when I came to film the SF90XX, we were talking, saying it would be good to finally do something, because we have tried so many times, right? Like over the years, and we're going to get into it in this podcast, why it's taken us so long to all appear on camera again together and to do one of these adventures. But we have tried. But yeah, when we were sitting there, we said, what should we do? And then you were the one who clocked, oh my God, it's literally 10 years to the day in October that we did that initial drive down. And it felt like, a good... Well, I think we needed a reason, right? We needed something really significant that we could all work towards and align our diaries to and be like, that makes sense. Because up until this point, it was like, oh, well, I want to do a trip, guys. Do you want to come along? Or Paul and Sam were like, hey, we're going to go to Monaco. Do you guys want to come? And we could never make it all happen. This was a good glue to stick to us.
When you have a fixed date, a very specific date, Sam, it's very easy to stick to it, isn't it?
Yeah, no changes.
No, can we move it
Okay,
a
we
bit?
can get into this because I feel like Tim's still holding it over me.
Just a bit.
We were supposed to do this trip like 10 years to the day. We were supposed to literally do it 10 years to the day after the original trip. I shifted that by one day because I had a commercial commitment.
You had everything booked, and you
I
had
hadn't
to
even
move.
booked my Eurotunnel and my hotels and everything. Because I think what you were just saying, right? Mm-hmm. It was that specific. We were all like, this is actually kind of a moment that links to a specific time. So if you're going to do it, you're going to do it. It's not let's do it in 6 months. Let's do it 2 months ago.
But I was like, what's a day?
No, a day
Come on,
is
guys.
you've made my life difficult because we just had our very busy 2 days, and then tomorrow morning I'm off again, or tomorrow afternoon.
Isn't that your life, though?
I
can't
try and
remember
make
the
it
last time it hasn't been like that. Yeah.
Okay, well,
When have you ever heard Tim say, "Yeah, I'm just chilling tomorrow"?
Oh, yeah,
Anything
what-
planned? Nothing. So
what are you up
he's
to
like,
next month?
guys, what are you doing tomorrow? Because I've got no plans. I've never heard you say
See,
that.
you might remember this. That month, October 2015, that was for me an absolutely chaotic month because when I took delivery of my FF 675 LT GT4, we did this trip, was flying backwards and forwards everywhere. I made a document on my computer that I called Ultimate Carnage because I felt like that best described what that trip was. That same document is still in play and it's still called Ultimate Carnage because that's just life.
Do you know, you
has been
snuck
kind.
away? Don't you remember? You snuck away at some point. After like 3 days, you're like, oh, I have to go somewhere.
Right,
it
press
was
trips.
But what was it? It was something that you didn't tell us, and then you came back and said, oh, yeah, I was doing the launch
What,
of
on the
this.
trip that we did 10 years ago?
No, 10 years ago, once we'd got to Monaco, we were hanging out, and then suddenly Tim disappeared for like 3 or 4 days. Oh. Do you not remember? And you went off and you did a press trip for something.
That does ring a bell, actually.
Tim's going to find out what it was.
I could find out. I definitely went to the R8 V10 Plus.
Maybe
Press, was it V10 Plus?
That feels
R8 V10. It
less
was
exciting than I remember.
whatever generation that was. I wouldn't be surprised if it was some silly schedule of hopping from one press event to another.
Well, you
Because
missed
you
that
left
because we
us.
were at a race
Yeah.
for pizza.
You left us.
Well, at that time, right,
we
I
did.
was just getting started figuring out the kind of rotations with manufacturers going to different events. I think even manufacturers were figuring it out because I used to go to events and sit there with all the magazine journos that we've all read and watched forever. So it was very much a whirlwind. I was going to say it was really last minute. Manufacturer might be like, "Can you come to this thing in 3 days?" Okay, I'll figure it out.
Because you were kind of the guinea pig, really, weren't you, at the
with
start,
every brand.
for manufacturers inviting. And at the time, what would you have called yourself, or what were manufacturers calling you? Because I think we were YouTubers, right? At the beginning, when we got invited, it was like the vloggers or the YouTubers. We weren't. There was influencers, wasn't a thing. We weren't influencer rotations. We weren't invited on,
Lifestyle waves.
Lifestyle wave, yeah. Sometimes
no.
you end.
I sat with, it would be Chris Harris or Steve Sutcliffe or Andrew Frankel, the magazine guys.
Yeah.
Like the well-established magazine journalists. We all know what just happened.
It's perking up.
Just to clarify, we are currently now sitting in Seb's apartment here in Monaco. This has been the destination for this trip, which is right in the thick of it, let's say. And Paul is nervously twitching because every now and again we hear an exhaust or something drive past, and he is desperate for this podcast to end so he can run outside with his camera. So we
This
are
is actually
depriving him of
Paul's
that.
bed.
Yeah.
That we're
Yeah.
on right now.
This is
Yeah.
your bed?
Yeah. It folds out.
I
into
didn't realise you were
Paul's
literally
bed.
sleeping here.
Yeah.
Fine.
So that he can be close to the action. In the middle of the night, he gets up in his pajamas and runs out to the
Spotting
balcony.
at 2 a.m. Yeah, perfect.
That's when it kicks off, actually, in Monaco.
So initially you were right in the thick of it with the sort of A-list automotive journalists. But did any manufacturer call you a name? Because I think when we all went on the McLaren launch, because the first one that a group of us did, sorry Paul, was the 572 GT in Tenerife, and I think then, as I said, I think we were just called the YouTubers.
It's an interesting question. It did. I don't think it really had a title.
Maybe
I think
not.
we're trying to give it a title that it didn't necessarily have at that point.
what-
What is it now? What's the title?
Influencer rotate. I think globally we are classed as influencers, whether you have 2,000 followers and are doing yoga in Dubai or you're Mr. Beast. I think we are classed as influencers. I wouldn't class myself as an influencer.
No, I was going to say, not many people in the influencer category would call themselves an influencer.
Yeah.
Because
It's quite pretentious also
think
as a word.
the
Bit
phrase
like
influencer.
OG car YouTubers. Anyway, sorry.
The phrase influencers has all these connotations of like reaching out to a hotel saying, "I'll make a post if you let me stay there for free."
Yes.
Doesn't it? Which is not what any of us do at all. Oh, really? Okay.
Let's skip past that point.
I DM'd Emirates not long ago because I had to go for a really long flight that was really expensive. But
Okay, well, look, what I wanted to do in this podcast is, if
joke.
we're here celebrating the 10-year anniversary of a trip, which I think, if we now look back, was monumental for many different reasons, right? It was kind of pivotal in all of our careers, but it represented sort of the peak of that era of us all collaborating together and doing loads of trips together. It was a sort of, we've spoken about it, a golden time where we could kind of film anything. Our creativity was kind of running wild. And because of that, there was this kind of excitement and movement of like this group of us and everything we did, and the audience got behind it, and we all kind of swelled in growth, sort of in the coattails of Tim's growth, if we sort of think about it, and yours at the time, Paul, because you were in the sort of daily vlogging era, so your channel was exploding. And I think Seb and I were trying to bring something different or new underneath that, but all four of us kind of got up and flew. And then James joined along not long after, then Emma Walsh, Archie, TG, all that lot. So it was kind of that, for me, in my mind, marked the start of that real upswell in kind of automotive content creation, at least for me. So we can go back and decide whether we all think that. But I wanted to go to before how we ended up doing it. Why did we end up doing it? Because it was a year after I'd started my channel. It wasn't the first time we'd all been on the road together. If you remember, sort of 6 or so months before, we did the original trip down to Monaco for Top
It
Marks.
was a Where Shmee.
Was it a Where Shmee tour officially?
I had always done. So I was going to say a couple of things. I did every year from, I want to say 2012. I always did a big trip in April, and we just jokingly called them Where's Shmee, because it was that kind of carnage of going from one city to the next so quickly that people watching couldn't figure out how that was possible. But we would try and do it for 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. They eventually became like 4 weeks, going to Cars and Coffee in Italy and coming here to Top Marks and going to a ton of different things. And then I think that year we planned that even more people, we'd all have been here for Top Marks, so we'd all go on this, extra drive together, right? It didn't really have.
It was a drive home from Top Marks, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was after Top
It
Marks.
was Monaco
actually.
back
Yeah.
home.
You had
Yeah.
the 4C?
I had the 4C, which we'll come on to in a second. But go on, explain more, Tim.
No, so I think that was about 17 cars.
It was a huge
Yeah.
group.
It was great fun.
Yeah.
It was a huge group. Now, we were joking about it earlier. It felt, as a new YouTuber, new to the scene, very special to get the invite. and Seb just mentioned the 4C, because prior to the 4C, I obviously had my Audi TT. I definitely wasn't invited when I had my Audi TT. And I don't know if it was you, Paul, or Seb, who said, "Oh, I spoke to Tim and he said, now you have the 4C. You might be able to come on the trip out to Monaco." And I was like, "Oh my God, how exciting." And then I had this sort of, this honoured phone call came through. Shmee, "Oh, hey, do you want to come on the trip?" I was like, "Oh, yes, please." So how did you decide who was coming? Like, who was that group?
No, so but I think even before that, right? So Seb and I had done quite a few different tours and drives and things.
How
Seb
come?
had joined on the previous year's Where Shmee tour, and we had done Gumball. You came along, and
Tim helped me out a lot because I was obviously very young, didn't know the way around any of the YouTube stuff. Tim, you were older than I was at the time, and had much more. Yeah, exactly. But had an understanding of YouTube and the potential business of YouTube, and how producing multiple videos and all this kind of worked. I was finding myself, and having that guidance in a way helped a lot. Even just justifying it to my family of, look, this guy Shmee, he's making a living out of it.
how
I
did you
promise
meet?
there's something. We met just because we were kind of.
no, I came to Monaco. I think
Yeah.
I came to Monaco. Was it 2011 maybe?
Yeah,
with
I
my
think I sent you a
Vantage?
message
And
'cause
you
I'd
sent me a
watched your
message
videos
somewhere. But it
with the
must have been a
Vantage.
message on YouTube, because that's before Instagram.
Yeah,
That's
it
weird
must have
to
been on
say.
YouTube.
That's how we first met. Seb,
Yeah.
Seb
Also.
slid into my YouTube DMs as well.
I've just
Yeah.
been sliding into DMs. Yeah. Nothing's changed, by the way. I still slide into plenty of DMs.
Just now on Tinder.
But anyway, so no, honestly, credit where credit's due. It really helped me a lot, and then I was editing your videos for a little bit.
Yep.
Do you remember
yeah,
that?
I mean, that's basically where it kind of started from my
Started,
side.
yeah.
Because I was like, if I'm doing this full time, right? Because at the time I still had a job. It was like, I need some help to turn all this stuff around. So how on earth, now it's, we're not going to say easy, because it's still hard to find a good person. But now there are people who go out looking for a career of helping to edit online content. Go back to 2011, 2012. That was not a thing, right? That was not a job.
No, not
not
at
a
all.
role
Of course
or a-
not.
No, you
What,
would say
being a
someone, can
YouTuber
you
was still a
edit?
new
Yeah,
thing.
first of all, just being a YouTuber wasn't a thing. Being someone who would edit for a YouTuber wasn't a thing at all. But no, it was incredible. And one of the perks of having this role was being able to join you on all these trips. And you very kindly invited me on a bunch of these trips. I dropped out of uni not long before and didn't really know what I was doing. And then all of a sudden I find myself on Gumball.
I was going to say it was Gumball 2015,
Yeah.
wasn't
Wow.
it? Stockholm to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And so you invited Seb because he was your editor, or just because you knew him, or like?
Well, putting a little team together for Gumball, my primary objective, as well as enjoying it, was always how can you feed the best content as quickly as possible, right? How can you get to the audience what I wanted to watch was like a real feeling of being inside the rally. And to do that, and also to drive all day, every day, is really difficult to do on your own. So it was always, how can we actually do this? And you need basically myself and somebody helping to film, you need to look after the cars and somebody else to help deal with the video side, right? So it was always, I guess there was no specific plan, but how can you have the right people to make that work?
And that you're going to be spending a lot of time with in quite an
Yes.
intense environment. So you want to be getting along well. But Tim always let me have my channel alongside as well, which was very kind of you.
To do what behind the scenes vlogs and
Yeah,
stuff.
well, it was just listen, I have these videos and if you can help out with making your videos and even just the logistics of the cars and what was going on throughout the trip, then, if you want to make your own videos once all that's done, no problem. And that obviously helped me launch my channel a lot because I was on Gumball, on Where's Shmee, so I had this unbelievable content. I was learning a lot about how to make the videos from hanging out with Tim. And yeah, so ended up on these first Where's Shmee tours. I mean, we started hanging out a lot too. Again, same dynamic of you had a much better understanding and YouTube was evolving so quickly. I mean, you guys especially were kind of writing the rule book of, okay, at first you would just upload a video, no title really. Maybe a title, no thumbnail. Then it became thumbnails is something you need to look into. Then it became, watch time is maybe something you need to start thinking about. But there wasn't anyone really explaining that to you. Yeah, exactly. You were figuring it out completely as you went. And it was a fascinating time.
I mean, I can go even further back. I remember sitting in McDonald's in Knightsbridge.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask.
Talking about having worked out that you need to start presenting to a video and talking to Paul about it. And it's funny because, like you say, there was no guidance anywhere. Same for all of us. Same when you started running around with the pod vlogs. Like, there was no guidance of here's how you make a YouTube video and here's what you need to do. It was literally, have you tried something and it worked and you struck gold and off you go? Or do you happen to know somebody who could give you some advice, who happened to have given you some advice about how to do something?
Which I think is maybe why the bond between all of us grew so strongly so quickly, because it was and it still is an incredibly lonely job being a YouTuber, and you're out there sort of fending yourself, battling the algorithm and trying to figure things out. So when you find somebody who's in the same world and can share your stresses, your concerns, ask for advice. Did you try that? Oh, I tried this. Or you know what I found out? It immediately creates a sort of bond. And people often ask, which YouTuber's a dick? And I'm always like, the thing is, no one really, are we all friends? Some, yes. A lot of them are like work acquaintances or colleagues, but whenever you walk into a room at a press launch and there's somebody else who is a YouTuber, immediately you kind of connect because you have so many things. You're like, hey, have you found that AdSense is really low this month? So I think at the beginning,
it's a natural bond.
Yeah, when we were in that upswell of growth and excitement and trying different things, the fact that we could all sit there at breakfast, and again, we'll probably move on to this, but sit there at breakfast and go, right, what's everyone want to film today? And everyone was like, I'll film this. Oh, what about that? Oh, I'll help you with this. Or have you tried that? It was amazing, but you just touched on it there. We've heard the origin story of Shmee Laney. I've just made up a nice romantic name.
That's a good name.
I assume that you two, Paul and Tim, met on the streets.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
The slums of Knightsbridge.
I'm going to ask you, Paul, first. Were you arch nemesises at the beginning? Because surely at that point you were the two, right?
If you class Supercars of London as there was two of us, and then Shmee 150, I remember meeting you for the first time and you were like, oh, you're the guy that's sending me loads of messages on Instagram and going like really angry at me. And I was like, no, I'm not. Because it was the other guy that I ran the channel with at the time that was
trolling
building this arch nemesis.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know this.
No, you spoke to me about when you came on the show before.
So
actually, you
these
spoke about
private
this, yeah.
messages that I had no idea were being sent to Shmee 150, and then we bumped into each other because at the time the other guy that was doing it was up at uni in York, and I was basically doing it day to day, filming cars and stuff. And you basically confronted me in a very polite way. It wasn't a
Tim way.
Surprised.
Oh, hello.
Squaring up to you.
There appears to be a misunderstanding here.
Headbutt you, mate.
and that's literally what it is. So, like, I kind of had to go back through and be like, oh, I'm so sorry. This is not how I
I'd
represent my
love to
brand.
see those messages now. If we could pull those up one day.
Yeah, incredible.
Do
Probably.
YouTube
I've got
messages
mine.
still exist?
I've got my entire email history from well before I started.
Yeah,
YouTube.
I think email. I don't know if you can still access
should
the
be able to.
YouTube message
but you got an
function.
email.
But you got an email which
Yeah.
had sort of basically summed up the text.
I think it was a bit because this was so early, and there was basically the Supercars of London channel, like 2009, and there was Street Supercars also uploading some videos
Who
from
was that?
London. A chap who lived in
Supercars.
central London who was uploading.
It's gone.
Hasn't uploaded. Stopped uploading like in 2011, 12, something
Probably
like
got
that.
a real job.
But obviously, then,
Shout out Street
popped up,
Supercars.
and I think the guys who were doing it felt like, who's this new kid and why is he, uploading something every day? Because I lived around the corner from Knightsbridge. I went to university at Imperial College, which is literally right opposite Harrods. So I needed to walk around the corner to go and film something, right? So it made it so easy to see everything every day. I didn't have to travel into London like you guys did.
But I think the clever difference was, all I was interested in was the car and the sound. That's all I wanted to film because I thought that was what would get the views. And then seeing your first videos and seeing you present them, I was like, wow, I could never do that. Like, imagine what all my school friends would think if I was even in London filming cars. Like, it was so nerdy that I just wouldn't tell anyone at school. And then
No, but that came later.
It did, yeah.
It came later. No, because the rivalry, we were already on good terms long before I started talking to a camera. I think I started talking to a camera in maybe 2012 somewhere.
Okay,
But we were definitely on good terms already before then. It was only like summer 2010 and maybe halfway into 2011 that there was this like rivalry competition. I think we had probably 7,000 or 8,000 subscribers each at this point. It's funny when you look back, but it was really like, I remember the time when the two channels were about the same and was like, that felt like, it just felt like an enormous challenge to upload the first
Manchester
videos.
United versus Manchester City.
Who will you choose
Real Madrid
tonight?
versus Barcelona.
Do you want a flaming Aventador or a screaming 458?
Pre-Aventador, Sam.
Sorry,
Let me tell
sorry,
you, it was
sorry.
Murcielagos.
Oh, of course. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Okay, so you two were on the streets. I mean, so we're talking years. You said 2010, 2011. You, Tim and Seb, again, similar sort of timeline?
Slightly
or a little
later, 11, 12.
11,
Yeah,
12 maybe.
probably, yeah.
And then I came along sort of, end of 14 is when I started my channel. 15 was the kind of first proper full year of it. And we all sort of met fairly quickly. So I think, did I meet you? Well, Tim won't necessarily
I know.
remember. You do remember this or you do know?
I know how we met, yeah.
How do you think we met?
Oh, how I think we met
Yeah.
is you were filming a video and I was driving in a McLaren.
No.
Had we met before that?
Yes.
Oh, it's the
Oh,
glasses
funny.
or something, no?
No, there's
No,
a few weird stories. Firstly, the only reason I ever knew who you were is your ex-girlfriend came and did work experience at the PR firm that I was working at.
Oh, funny.
And we were sitting there one day and she was, saying, oh, my boyfriend films cars. And I was like, oh, I quite like cars. I was like, well, what does he do? Tell me the channel. And you just bought your Vantage, what you now have back, I guess. But the blue convertible Vantage. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And I started watching the videos, thinking what's going on. And then I went to London Concours, which must have been 2014 when it was in artillery barracks. Anyway, early 2014, pre me starting the channel. And I saw you there and I came over and I said, oh, by the way, hey, and your ex-girlfriend used to work at my PR firm. I've been watching your videos.
He was a fan.
And to be honest, you were quite rude.
Sounds like I was probably. You were one of those people when I'm in the middle of filming a video who just came up
What car did you have then? R8?
in 2014. 12C.
Was it the 12?
But it wouldn't
I
have
think
been at
you
the
would have
event.
just got the 12C.
I would
yeah.
have been at the event on foot, I think.
Yeah, you were on the event on foot. If you had it might have been you had the R8. I think you still had the R8. You were about to get the 12C because didn't you get the Didn't you get it for Christmas? 14?
Wait, I was thinking 2014. So what year are we on here?
2014. I thought you got the 12C at Christmas that year. No.
But it Christmas end of 2013. For
Christmas end of
2014. Yeah.
Anyway,
I remember.
I
Shmi
forget.
got
Anyway,
his
so-
McLaren
so-
on Christmas 2014.
The 650S was Christmas end of 2014.
Yes,
I
I
remember
remember
that.
that.
I remember
Was your
that.
12C black?
Yeah, it was a black car.
black. Yeah.
Wrapped in
Wrapped
red.
in
Yeah.
blue, yeah.
So, oh gosh, I mean, we've all had these stories. I did the reveal of the 12C when it was wrapped and then uploaded the video afterwards of collecting it before then wrapping it.
I've done that
people got
once.
so
Nobody
confused.
could get their head around it.
Yeah, okay.
People were like, you've got two? What's
Yes,
the story
yeah,
here?
yeah, this is so bizarre.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so we had some weird meetings before I was seen through glass, which of course you wouldn't remember. And then yes, we met on the side of the road after Seb and I had done our collaboration. So we definitely met post Seb and I. You reached out. I've told the story quite a few times. YouTube DMs, pretending that you were a very
Never
successful
scared
man
of
from
sliding
Monaco. I have very good connections. Let's meet up in Starbucks. I thought that's questionable. Went to the basement, and then a 12-year-old child walked in and said, "Hello." I was like, "Oh God." And then Paul, was it the Bond thing, or had we met on the street? Do you remember the Bond thing?
I think we had met on Sloane Street when I
Okay.
had my baby blue R8.
Yes,
And I
you're
think
right.
off the back of that, maybe you invited me to the Bond thing as, hey, do you want to come to this?
Yes.
This was a premiere.
No, so I
Wasn't there a
was.
premiere we all went to together?
Oh, yeah. What was that?
I can't remember. But
that
there's
has been-
definitely, there was some.
We went
premiere.
to something in a gala or something like that.
Yeah,
Black tie.
All
What was
together. I
that?
can't remember what that was. It was in London.
Oh,
I wouldn't have been at that.
wasn't that no.
Not black tie. Not for me.
Okay, well, basically, I was still working when I started the channel, but I was trying to grow. And yes, somebody posted that you parked up in the Baby Blue R8 on Sloane Street. At the time, I literally lived around the corner from there, so I jumped in my car, drove down, had my camera strapped to my head. I think I came over and said hi.
Yeah.
And then I was doing the PR for Bond in Motion, which was an exhibition of all the Bond vehicles. And they were like, "Oh, we'd love to get some coverage." And I thought, "Well, I do know this. I know. I'm very good friends with this YouTuber." And I sent you that email and said, "Do you want to come down?" And that's how it all sort of began. So that was all, end of 2014 into 2015. And then we did the initial Top Marks trip in early 2015, which was the 4C trip. And we all made movies and we did the long drive back.
Yeah.
And Sam Moores was there. And obviously James was there as well, JWW, before he really became Mr. JWW.
Yeah.
And I think that we all maybe subconsciously clocked that there was something quite good in all being together and around each other, and maybe the audience liked us all being in each other's videos. I don't know what, but something clearly made us think, let's do this again, because it was 6 months later that we did what I'm now calling this monumental trip, which we're celebrating right now. So I don't know what happened in that 6 month period that made us think, let's go and do a trip all together again.
I think a lot of it comes from the planning that I was doing. So obviously you have gone a lot further than I ever did in terms of actually organising rallies and road trips. But I always loved the idea. As you might remember, I even made like a bound document folder with route plans and everybody who's on it and all their cars and everything.
I think I do actually.
I've got copies of it. I've got the spare one.
I'm sure you do. Tim.
But I always enjoyed that. I mean, even so when I was 18, 20 years ago, first thing I did when I finished at school, literally, day we left school, next day a friend and I drove around Europe, did a full tour, and I gave the tour a logo and did a route book and everything just for us.
What a loser.
Yeah, but I enjoyed it. Hey, it led to where things are now.
Yeah,
so
that's what I do for a living. So I'm literally
yeah,
giving myself.
when we ended up doing that tour, and obviously I spent a lot of time with Seb in that year, and he still had the place here. So we had been talking about these crazy new cars. Obviously, we had been talking before I'd even bought the FF, but you knew the LT and the GT4 were coming before the internet did, because that was a fun secret. We had been talking about, wouldn't it be so cool to take all three of the cars down here? So we had been putting that together already, and we did one big tour. You must have been on the tour with the LT and the FF.
Yeah.
We went to
I
Monza.
remember coming to collect the FF with you.
We picked. Oh yeah, you came up to McLaren Manchester with the LT, of course.
Yeah, LT we collected together. The FF
And then
we collected together.
we shipped out. We drove the FF. I remember via Strasbourg on the way to Singen. We had the LT shipped out, and then we drove the LT and the FF through to Italy. Did it. First day I drove the 675 LT, which for me was a way too much money in one car type situation.
That was not. When
And
you
it
had
was
the
snowing.
LT delivered, I remember thinking to myself, like, I hope he knows what he's doing. This looks expensive. I don't know what's going on.
That's a lot of carbon
I've
fiber.
also bought a Ferrari. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it was just a crazy journey. And then so we did those two cars, came down here, and then I got the date. That was already booked. Then I got the date for the GT4, which was going to be like 10 days later. So we were already kind of going to fly back to London to drive back down again. And we had been talking simultaneously. It was like, why don't we line this up and we make it so that I can get the GT4 in the morning, join you guys at the Eurotunnel, and we'd all drive together back down here.
Because when did you buy the Gallardo?
Beginning of September.
Okay, this is now making more
think
sense.
That was a trigger for
Yes.
you to jump into the F-Type.
This is
And
what,
then,
yeah.
and then
So we all
join
had
two.
new cars.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what it was. That
Yeah.
now is making more sense that
Because
it was a
this-
What
swell
year
of
was this?
new
2015,
cars.
yeah.
October
2015.
15.
You launched the
Have you
F-Type.
forgotten the 10 years?
as you were driving
Yeah,
down to
sorry.
the
I was just
Eurotunnel.
thinking how old I was.
We went and picked up the F-Type the day before the trip. So, like,
Yeah,
don't remember we filmed the reveal in Westfield basement, and then, literally
Yes,
went to
true.
the
I was
Eurotunnel
here
the
for
next
all your
morning.
reveals. I've got every car collection. I never I've actually never owned a car, guys. I've just come along to all of your collections.
It's actually quite nice. It means for all the big cars, you've been there, Seb. So,
You always need someone to film. I'm here for you guys.
Just a little mascot.
So I think that makes sense, because obviously Paul and I, you and I did lots of trips in that period.
Yeah.
Because we came down for F1. Was Barbados that year or the year
We did.
after?
We did a big
ton.
Geneva road trip. We did Barbados.
yeah.
We did.
I think in
Monaco
that period,
F1,
you and I were
yeah.
doing a lot together. So I
Yeah.
think we were talking. We had the new car swell. Obviously, you guys were doing your plans for it, and I think it all just came together that somehow it's like, oh, well, let's just all go down with our new cars and spend a couple of weeks there. For me, I've mentioned it in the content which will be going out on the main channel, but obviously I was still part-time. It was still a side hustle for me, right? Like I think I came on that trip with 45 or maybe 50,000 subscribers, something like that. You know, it's still very much, you know, I had to take a couple of weeks away to put my out of office on. I'm so sorry to my clients. You guys were still already doing it professionally. I think, Seb, you were trying to as well, same as me. But it was kind of a bit of an experiment of like, yeah, let's go down to Monaco for a couple of weeks and just like do as much as we can and see what we can make. And then, you know, I found it super inspiring seeing you two run your channels as a business. I think the creativity of all four of us, the environment, the fact that it all went so well, apart from the smoothie challenge, we can touch on that. That yeah, I came back going, oh, right, this is what I want to, this is what I want to do, and it did feel like from there we kind of all just were able to ride this incredible wave and work our asses off for the next few years, and then end up with these channels that we've all branched out over the last 10 years and now, you know, found our way back to each other.
So romantic.
Yeah. So on that actual trip, Tim's found something on his phone that is making him smile. Tell me.
No, I just our chat histories from 2015 because
Oh my
obviously
God.
these days you still have everything. But it's interesting to. I've completely lost where I was going with it. I had something on my
You were
mind.
trying to find out the reasons as to why we did the trip, I guess is why.
Yeah.
Or how we all ended up
The
on
planning, yeah.
It must have been a sort of
No,
like,
I know what I was going to say. I had a previous experience. So back in 2012, in the very early days of YouTube, I rented an apartment very near here for a month and basically sent invitations back then to every single YouTuber car person I knew or could find on the internet.
Was this when you had the Z4?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you came
Okay.
down, I remember, with the Z4.
So I had set up then just the idea of bringing everybody here to come car spotting. So we'd wake up and every day for like a month I would wake up and go and walk around town and film videos and upload them.
Who are you with? Anyone that we?
So this is people like Alex Smolik and Marketino and
Okay, who are still around today?
loads of people.
Is Alex still
Alex
doing?
is
No.
Marco still does
Yeah,
content,
of
but
course.
like lots of different people from the Netherlands because I had done a few stops for different events in the Netherlands before. So I already had, I guess, that idea of let's bring car community to this
The
place.
YouTube house. I remember
Yeah.
we spoke about this loads of
well,
times.
I mean, that was when we first met. Our whole bond was let's get the automotive community collaborating because we shared this kind of interest in the UK the Brit tubers, as they call it, Zoella and Alfie Days and all these people like that. We were fascinated by what they were doing. We're like, why can't we do that? And we collaborated. It was one of the first in the UK car scene was our little collaboration of, you know, spotting London versus Monaco. Because I think we shared that ideology for sure.
I remember that.
And so that's maybe how it came. I mean, we obviously had the advantage of Seb, you having the house.
I did. My parents. A huge thank you to my parents because they were very welcoming to all of us.
In
back
that period of time, my God, they literally like opened the doors to just random people.
Our second
Legends.
parents.
Yeah.
They
Legends.
still are for me.
Yeah.
In that period of time, they were.
And now that I
amazing.
have my own place, you stay at a hotel. About football. Still here.
That's
good
what I
point,
mean.
actually.
I'm in the Delaney family now.
Paul's part of the fam.
Okay, so talk me through each of you your memories of that time. So we came. It was 2.5 weeks, I think, right? That we were all down
We
here.
were here for a long time.
Yeah, 2.5 weeks. And I say, Tim, you definitely disappeared for.
No, I disappeared and came back. I spent
Yes.
a lot of that 3 months here with Seb.
I think you
left
came
the
and
FF
went,
here
yeah.
until I don't know.
Yeah,
it was
I
three,
remember.
it was here
They
for
were
3 months or something.
Yeah.
And
And
the
the
LT,
filter in the garage.
ELT, yeah.
Dimmy was here at that point. Was Dimmy here or somebody? We did have somebody else
might-
knocking around.
Dimmy came down with the R8, I think.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure about the
Yes.
Gallardo.
Yeah.
I feel like there was somebody else. Would it have been Josh? There were definitely a couple of other
Maybe
people.
Josh was with
No,
me.
Jason.
Was that when I
Jason.
had the Jason?
Jason.
Sam Moores was also with us, even with the Gallardo.
So on the 1st of October 2015, you said, Sam,
Yeah.
can you let me know the details for your driving trip for the first days in Monaco? I want to look at hotels, etc.
So
So I must have
what
planned
we
it.
are actually doing is just a 10-year reunion of another Where Schmee tour.
No, it wasn't. On the October tour,
Where's
it wasn't.
Shmee?
No,
I
it
still
was-
haven't
it
found
was my-
Shmee. 10
it was
years
my-
later.
It was my Ultimate Carnage tour. That was what I was
Okay, yeah. So it's just called, OG Ultimate.
I did do a video which was like what happens when it rains in Monaco or something like that, which I'm trying to find now.
Yeah, because
Which
we
I-
did,
is
we
that
did,
the title of
we
the
did a
video?
Halloween collaboration. You drove my Gallardo, or I drove you in it, and then I went
How did
out
we
in
make?
this
We made a joke about something being spooky. What?
675 LT. I think I bought like a Halloween outfit for it because it was around this obviously around this time, which is Halloween.
You could do such silly little ideas back then, and it was just new and fun.
I remember you saying
third-
you had feet on your shoes.
Yeah.
Well,
That was a house tour.
well, there's a reason why he got his words mumbled
Yeah, well,
up.
we'd gone out the night
I
before.
was just going to say, Paul had not slept and was probably still quite intoxicated. We can get onto those stories.
he's saying.
Thankfully, that was the day that I chose to do a
Dimmy
house
was
tour.
on that trip.
Oh, so he must have come down with me in the Gallardo then.
Look at this. Can you remember the vibe of that house where you would, as you said, not even, because you're saying go down to breakfast, it would be you'd wake up, see who's awake. I remember times where you would still be lying in bed. I'd walk in and be like, I've had an idea. Let's do this video today. And you'd be like, oh, all right, fuck.
Was that the year that I just pranked you all day?
I think so, maybe. That
And
period,
then
that
Seb dyed my hair.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I did
The
that,
prank
yeah.
war, the prank
Yeah,
war. I mean,
yeah.
that
I remember
2.5 week period, anything was possible,
Mm.
essentially. We were there, and it was very much a YouTuber house. So just to clarify, by the way, Dimmy used to work with Paul on a lot of stuff. If you're an OG or an old school...
Dimmy164.
Yeah, Supercars London viewer, you'll know who Dimmy is, but just in case you don't. Yeah, so he'd knock around on a few of those early trips. But yeah, as you say, it was literally, you'd wake up, and the creativity started flowing. And you just think, okay, what are we going to do? And who can I use? And can you help me with this? And we'd bounce ideas and someone would go, oh, no, what about this? Or you know what you should do? Or change this. And it was just such an insane time where not only were we all bouncing off each other, but we were lucky that the audience were receptive to it. It was a time when the audience would kind of watch anything because there wasn't much choice, right? You know, this was let's think automotive scene, pre Matt Armstrong, pre Joe Achilles, pre JM, pre Archie Hamilton, it was
Pre
essentially
the
us
magazines
four.
doing really, really, really high production videos.
Chris
also.
Harris was doing his stuff, and
Yeah,
maybe
of
Evo
course, yeah.
every now and again. But in terms of the vlogging scene, there was so little. So I think the audience kind of had to watch what we were
Well, I think it was the authenticity of it too. So if there
Sure.
were videos, they were maybe slightly more journalistic, whereas ours would be very just raw.
raw
Exactly.
and silly. Tim's giggling. Go
I'm
on.
giggling because I'm looking at our WhatsApp chats on your old number.
Okay.
So you changed 10 years ago. This is obviously just before.
So you can leak it now.
And I'm literally reading the conversation from mid-August 2015 of me basically every day saying, buy a Gallardo and come to Monaco with me. Like literally,
way.
I didn't remember this at all, but there are so many messages of me being like the devil on your shoulder.
That's
saying, "Just do it."
amazing.
I was saying like, I'll help you with the shipping. We'll get it sorted. Like just get it.
So
get
it's
the
you
cardboard.
who are to blame for my ears being ruined.
I feel and I'm persuading you to put an army tricks on it. Like
No way.
This is so schmee.
Yeah.
I feel
Influence.
guilty,
Yeah.
but
Tim
you'll
was
have
to
to
blame.
read this later.
I was actually going to say, like, I remember flipping between the R8 and the Gallardo. That month was daily vlogs, like 12-minute to 15-minute videos. All of a sudden, my AdSense has shot through the roof, but there was the delay on the payment. So I was running like a 45-day delay on all of my payments. So I was basically...
You said that here.
I was basically like breaking even with my R8. Once I sold that, put all of that money into the Gallardo, and I said to Tim, I was like, I don't think I can afford to come down. And you were basically like, don't worry, I'll
cover
I'll-
everything.
I said
cover
like, I'll
everything.
sort it and we'll deal with it later.
Yeah.
And in terms of size, so yeah, I think I was at like 40,000 subscribers. Were you? I think you were like 350, because daily vlogging was flying for
I
you.
have a clue, but it was.
I think it was like 300, 350, and I think Tim, you were either just broken 500,000 or did on the trip or something like that. It was around 500,000, I'm sure.
Well, so I specifically remember October 2015 was the month my channel grew the most subscribers in a single month, even to this day, ever.
okay.
How much was that? How many subscribers?
I want to say it was like 50k or 70k or something like that,
Yeah.
like in 1 month, because
okay.
I newspaper articles were writing about me buying these 3 cars and whatever. So it was I guess hitting much bigger audience than our normal YouTube videos.
Mine was selling the Gallardo, buying the AMG GTS. I still remember it, 55,000 subscribers in a month.
Wow. People really hated that guy. Like okay, so what
I
else
think
do we
mine was
remember?
when I got my car stolen. That's when it-
Oh my God, I'd
Do you remember?
forgotten about
and
that.
you guys were all at my my parents'
I was
house.
definitely-
Not
I
mine.
was-
I'd left.
One just up the road.
Yeah,
I'd left. I'd left out.
because
Yeah.
I was the only one that stayed because I had a crack in my
Crack in your
windscreen,
windscreen.
so I was getting that replaced.
So you were in my. Were you guys not staying?
No,
at
I'd
that?
rented a different Airbnb. Or
Oh,
not
okay.
Airbnb.
Yeah, your
or
mum
something
got me
was
up
in
at like
Italy.
4 a.m.
And I remember, and it was like, we should probably post about this. You know, we should probably try and see if we can find this car.
So it was after Top Marks. I was very tired and I didn't wake up that day until like 11 or something. I
Right.
guess I'd gone to bed
That
at
rings a
3
bell.
and I woke up really late. And I woke up to so many messages on every platform being like, "You're such a bad friend. You're not even posting about this." And I was like,
Really?
"About what? What's
Yeah,
happened?"
yeah, what's happened?
But I was inundated with really rude messages. I'm like,
Really?
I've been sleeping.
Yeah,
And I was-
yeah. Not my fault. Yeah.
If people
And
don't
then
remember,
we
just
went into full overdrive.
I mean, we found the car.
Mark and I were like, we called everybody we knew. Obviously, you were dealing with everything. And I remember calling everybody and saying, just post about this, post about this, post about this.
if people don't remember, Seb, you were essentially carjacked at gunpoint, weren't you, in Paris?
Yeah, yeah, full
for
gun-
your
gun
first
to the
Lotus
head, the
Elise.
whole-
Like, yeah.
yeah.
It was a crazy story. There's probably there must be content on your channel
Yeah, I mean,
still, right?
honestly, I haven't spoken about it that much since it happened. But yeah, I mean, it was a weird, obviously, like a creepy experience. But the moral of it now is the power of social media to find the car. But I remember just that when we thinking back to it, being okay, what do we do now? Do we just this happened and whatever, or shall we try and get the car back? If so, maybe just maybe social media. And at that point, it was. Well, there's about 4 YouTubers that are staying at my house or close to my house right now. You know, I was in the police station, like, give me a second. You know, I go, like, guys, do you mind posting? And all of a sudden, I can't remember what it was. Someone gave me the stats of it, like how much reach it got within 24 hours. And we ended up finding the car and everything. But yeah, obviously.
For back then, like that was so early. Like
Yeah.
now,
Yeah,
you know,
BBC
you'd never want it to
articles,
happen. But if a car got stolen in the social media world, that you see it happening. Posts get made, it reaches tons of people very, very quickly. Back then, that would nobody had ever seen that.
Yeah.
That wasn't even an idea that you could
It wasn't
reach
a thing,
people
was
like
it?
that.
And it was also one of the reasons it also happened is because we were, I thought it was a subscriber coming up to the car. I don't know if we've probably spoken about it before, but literally 5 minutes before it happened, it was in my Lotus at the time, which was a bit recognizable. So, it would happen that someone would come up to the car. And so I see someone walking up to the car and I'm like, oh, cool. And then all of a sudden, obviously, I realized pretty
why is this
quickly.
fan
I was like,
got a gun?
this is not
subscriber base you
Oh
have.
no, I'm
Yeah.
John Lennon.
Exactly.
Okay, but sorry, not to completely dismiss that story because it obviously was quite traumatic for you. I don't know if this is a therapy podcast or not.
Yeah.
I haven't decided yet. Going back to the trip that we're celebrating now, so we can touch on your have I got feet on my shoes story and why that happened, because in and amongst the content, which I think we have spoken about, there was so much fun being had at that time, right? Like we were all pretty young. I think you were definitely with your now wife. I think the rest of us were single. Oh, sorry if I'm not. Backtrack, I'll edit that out if not. But we were having fun. We were definitely in this kind of upswing of just like young, free, cars, Monaco, off season. And so we were definitely...
Off-season? What do you mean off-season? We're not F1 drivers.
Sam was in a full-time employment.
Yeah, exactly.
So for him,
We were on
this was a
off-season.
holiday.
What does
You
that
might
mean?
be in off season. I've run from the very early days around the advertising calendar. So October, November, December is full go season.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I was in off season, guys. My training program was out the
I
window.
still am.
But there was a lot of fun. Wasn't that the time we went go-karting and Felipe Massa and his son were there?
That was this
Maybe.
memory in the back of my mind because we went with Mass, who had at the time Jon Olsen's Mercy SV. Was it just
Very
a
good
Murcielago?
point.
Was it just a Murcielago with a kit?
It was a
I feel like it was-
Murcielago
think it was
rear-wheel
a
drive
white
with a
Murcielago,
kit.
yeah.
I think they'd rear-wheel drive converted it, but put an SV kit on it.
Yeah.
That was John Olsen, very famous
To
YouTuber.
Ventimiglia go-karting.
Went to Ventimiglia go-karting and we're all just like twatting around and Seb's beating all of us because he always does. And then we get out because like somebody else needs the track. And it was Felipe Massa and his son. And I think Massa was still a current driver, or he was like retired for like a year,
Yeah.
or a
Yeah,
current
he
driver
was-
with Williams. And they just went around like he was like teaching his son, and we all just sat there
Watching.
for the whole session. It was such a cool thing to see, and it felt like quite an honour.
So
Go
that's
on.
when I had disappeared, and I was very jealous.
Yes,
I
okay.
wasn't there with you.
you
So
were.
this was all the same trip. This was
I
Yeah.
think so. I remember coming back and being told that.
because it all becomes a bit of a blur. I don't know if it's the same for you. There were so many trips back then.
So
Anyway.
many trips.
But okay, so that trip.
So there was that. As I say, the big night out that led to Paul's feet
Well,
up,
first
feet
of all,
on
Paul
shoes.
doing the worm across an entire club. I remember at one
forgot
point being
that.
like, you guys were here. You kind of feel a bit of a responsibility as the host, the local. I hope they're having a good time. And then I just hear like, wait. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? Turn around. And Paul's just doing the worm with like the whole club clapping him along. I'm like, oh, yep, they seem to be having a good time. I think we're good.
That night was Halloween. Like it was the Halloween night.
Was it?
Yeah. So we went down to the swimming pool area to Raskas
Yes.
not in Halloween outfits. We're dressed up in our smarter shirts and got rejected from everywhere because one, we had no females with us, and two, we weren't in fancy dress. So we were walking around car spotting outside Cipriani's, mass turned up in his F12.
Is
And
this
it's like,
the same night?
No, it's not the same, because there's a
It
night
is the
where you
same
went
night.
and put a key on a table. Do you remember when you did that?
Yeah,
That's a
his
different
Ferrari
night.
key.
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone was nervous to go talk to this table of girls. And Paul,
Also, I've already got a
just-
girlfriend,
yeah,
so there's a Ferrari key. And
just
they were
puts
like,
the key on the table and goes, that's those guys over there. Sure enough, they came over.
But these are memories that I think have stayed within the group and with all of us for the last 10 years over and above work. And I think that's why let's move on to, as our final chapter of this podcast, why maybe the audience have been sad that we haven't all been able to continue that kind of camaraderie and direct or intense friendship and on screen. What are you about to interrupt with? Oh, what?
It was a
Sorry,
car, and we were
Oh,
looking at each
okay.
other like, what is that?
The damn spotters on the end.
I think it
I'm
was an
there
AMG.
trying to wax lyrical about our experiences, and you're like, oh, I think it was an AMG GTR.
As you were.
So let's try and figure out why we know why it stopped, essentially, is what I'm trying to get to. Because if that was the golden era, if we have all these amazing memories that we can laugh and giggle about, and we're doing it 10 years later, I think the audience have always wanted to know what happened, who fell out with who, where's the bad blood, why did it all fall apart? And I've always tried to explain that sadly the story's a lot more boring than that. And as far as I've ever been concerned, there was never a big falling out. It was, in my mind, the fact that life took over. We all became busy with our own channels. As each of our own channels grew, we were demanded individually more and more by brands and manufacturers. Opportunities presented themselves in different ways. All of our lives changed and where we lived and things like that. So the opportunities to hang out together changed. And also, let's not forget, there was definitely a period of time, a good 18 months after the trip we're celebrating now, where the audience did start to say, guys, we like it when you hang out, but we don't want to always see you guys doing all the same thing together.
You know, 4 times the same video. And
So
all
we
that stuff.
started to like think about it more, didn't we? I remember there was a trip when we went to with Bentley where
It
we
was
were
the Bentley
like,
trip.
"Oh, do you think that was the nail in the coffin?"
No, I don't think so. I don't necessarily think so, but we...
I don't think there's a coffin.
I don't think so either. I was trying to be dramatic for the clickbait. So that was my clip at the start of the.
I do
of
remember the
episode.
Bentley trip because it was building up to that point where we were creatively struggling to think, how can we reinvent the wheel that we had been spinning each year? Because it was always around April time with top marks. Okay, let's come down to Monaco. That was the kickstart to the season. But then we kind of felt like we're just filming the same thing.
From 4 different angles.
From 4 different angles, which would work one time for a Supercars versus Spotters type video, because everyone would want to see each individual angle. But for an entire week's worth of content, and obviously the start and growth of other automotive creators around the world.
Yeah.
I remember the Bentley trip because we sat down after the press conference. We were like, right, how are we going to make all of our we're fundamentally filming the same car on the same roads in the same country at the same time. So how do we make something different so our audiences can enjoy all of our content? And that was...
Seb, were you on that trip or was that with James? I think
No,
it
I
was
wasn't on the
James.
Bentley
I think
trip.
it was with
It
James.
was with James,
yeah.
yeah.
And we all
and we shared a
struggled,
car.
right?
And then you shared a car.
Everyone, I think we all 4 of us shared a car, didn't we?
No, we had 2 different cars. I
Yeah.
shared with
I was-
James and you 2 shared.
Yeah.
Fine, okay, but we all ended up in the car. I remember filming us. My video I think had all 4 of us in. I think. Anyway.
Yes, yours was
Maybe.
like an interviewee type video. I remember sticking the cameras on the glass roof.
Yes, there you go. Well
Mine
done.
was like a review. Yours was like a first drive experience.
I just did like a vlog,
and I
didn't
think
I?
James's was somewhere between our videos. So we'd kind of planned this 4 different.
Yeah, but it was
content
almost
pieces.
too hard work, wasn't it? It stopped feeling natural.
Yeah.
It wasn't as exciting, and I think even then the audience were a bit like, and so we were all so on our own path in such a great way and excited to be so that when we got back together or we were brought together, it was like, is this what it was? I think it just naturally evolved, right? That's how I see it. How do you guys see it?
From my side, there are 2 things, I think. Number one is around that time, 2016, 2017, is when I started doing so much more with manufacturers. So then my content was much more a test drive in a car with a brand under embargo until whenever. So it wasn't content that lent itself to collaborations in any form. It just... You have to almost follow the schedule they give you. And then the second side of it was the road trips I was doing because of the way that I was creating content and getting more of a team behind it, even more and more of a team than had been in 2015, meant that it was so logistically complicated to plan our own things that it didn't even leave space for saying, hey, does someone else want to come with this? You know, it was more the occasional collaboration than continuing what we had all done up to that point. And it's also just how the platform changed, right? You know, you just touched on it. Audience, the core audience, probably some people who are watching or listening right now, were super supportive when collaborations happened. But the reality is that we could all see in the stats side of things that people would watch 1 or 2. They wouldn't watch 4 videos. It just faded out over time. There was so much more choice, more people making content, more stuff starting. So there was so much more choice. And it's even now, you know, we've joked about it a little bit, right? It's a massive nostalgia thing. And we've been so grateful for all of the comments and things that people have been getting involved with. It's been amazing that while we've been on this little drive. But I think if you did it every week, it'd get boring and then nobody would care anymore.
Yeah.
Yes. We're tapping into nostalgia for ourselves and for the audience. You know, we hope everyone's going to enjoy the content. I guess, you know, lots more probably still to come by the time this episode goes out. But yeah, it's that we're doing it because we want to do it firstly. We want to celebrate it, but also hopefully to give back to the audience because a lot of you have been here for 10 years. That's what we've seen in the comments, right? Where we've posted people like, oh my God, I remember the original trip. So the fact that you're all still around, still supporting us, we're doing this as a way to celebrate all of our journeys, right? The audience's journey and our own journeys for sure.
How many comments have there been where somebody was like, I remember watching that trip 10 years ago when I was a teenager at school and now I've got 2 kids.
It's incredible.
Tell me about it, Tim.
But life changes, right? And it's for everyone, it's an opportunity to look back and to think about the past and to think about good, exciting times.
Agreed.
I think the point where I actually started to reshare these 10-year anniversaries was around the Gallardo. So we had conversations about this trip and I was like, well, that would have been a fairly significant year then because I bought my first Lamborghini. So I then started to repost and bring that back up. And that's where I just got this immediate connection from so many people online. I've spoken to thousands of people on my Instagram DMs where they've just told me about what they've done in their last 10 years. That has honestly been like one of the best things that has happened. And you forget, because you're constantly having to keep moving and we're like, none of us have really stood still in the last 10 years and we've all gone and achieved some amazing things. But it's actually in the last month or so that I've stood still for the first time and gone, yeah, like everyone's just been on some wild journey, but even everyone that's watched us. And that's like, in a way, the nicest thing that I've been able to take away from this.
What everyone's achieved, us and audiences. It's a mad.
And also sharing everything you guys have said, I don't want to repeat that, but also sharing the moments off camera, just us having, like you spoke about at the beginning, that the brainstorming and talking about what's going on in the industry. And I miss that a lot. The moments where we're all helping each other also. I mean, back in 2015, I remember it being, we'd sit down for the brainstorms of what's your video going to be? Okay, we've decided that. Right. Now, Paul, and we would all turn on, okay, Paul, how can we make this video interesting for you and your channel? How can we film it? If you film this, then you can go at the same time, film those 2 videos at the same time. And that's been really nice, getting back to that and us being able to have those chats. And also it gives you different perspectives on what's going on, not just in the YouTube world, but in the automotive industry as a whole. And
even our lunch that was part filmed, but also just us having a chat as mates. Yeah. And you sit there at the table and you're like, over the last 10 years, like our most valuable commodity individually is our time, right? And that's how our business fundamentally functions. So to be able to just sit and have an hour's chat where we're not thinking about what's happening on emails or what am I doing tomorrow or what brand deal have I got to do next week or have I got to post some content from last week's brand deal, and us just having a conversation, having some food. Like, we've not actually been able to do that.
No. Because we've, as you say,
banging
really,
food as well.
In the last,
it was unbelievable.
Great food.
Get a link in the podcast.
No, speaking of brand deals, let me tell you about Shane. But in the last 8 years, the only times we have seen each other, whether it's been 3 of us or 2 of us or maybe all 4 of us and then we're just forgetting, it has been at a manufacturer event or a launch or a party or something like that. So you are distracted. You're right. It was nice to tap into that. And I think
there's a lot going on other than just sitting down and being able to chat.
So just in case, because I'm aware, obviously the audience come and go, right? Not everyone's been watching continuously for 10 years. They might have been here 10 years ago, but they might not have watched all the time. So maybe some of them haven't seen you or heard from you since the adventure 10 years ago. So let's just finish off with a quick repack of where are you now? Who are you now?
Well, right now in Monaco.
Well, good point. I actually said we should start with you because we are in your flat. So what are you doing? What in the last 10 years? No, I'm joking. What are you doing right now?
Well, that's half my life, nearly. Yeah. But no, so I'm still making YouTube videos. I have a French channel, so I make a lot of content in French, but I'd like to bring back more English. I've moved back to Monaco full time, but also what's taking a lot of my time is I have a textiles business completely alongside YouTube that I don't really talk about online much, but that's taking a lot of my time. I really enjoy it. Garage-wise, I have a 458 Spider, which we've seen on this trip. A 67 Mustang Fastback, which has always been a dream of mine, and a 135i BMW. The Daily, which someone else here also has.
Yeah.
Segway.
Do you still have that car?
Yeah, my wife drives it, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Paul, let's segue nicely into you. What are you doing now? Where are you?
Well, my wife's driving an M1355.
End of story. There we go.
I have about 50% of my time operating supercars in London. I should probably spend more time doing it. But I've got 3 projects that then take up the majority of my other time. But the production, content creation company, helping companies in the UK essentially have a social media platform. A lot of businesses just don't see or realize how much work or effort it takes. So we work on the strategy, we create the content, we post it. It's a cool thing that keeps me very busy, but it's exciting. So
Nice. And Tim?
From a YouTube side, the main thing is, of course, still the Shmee150 channel, but a big thing that I kick-started earlier this year was the Shmuseum, my second channel, which the idea of which was very much to make it like Shmee150 10 years ago. So that's a big part for me why this trip has worked. That kind of just film everything, figure it out later. Still have a bit of a plan, because at the end of the day, these days, you do need a plan for a video, but not.
Oh, amazing. Well, news to me.
But so that's where you're posting this trip then on the
Yes, so
Shmuseum.
this trip is on the Shmuseum because it's a hard psychological thing, because the audience, I would imagine, will say, why isn't this a Shmee150 video? But I moved Shmee150 more to being the first look at a new car or a test drive or covering an event, something that's a lot more structured and a lot more planned. But it's great to have 2 different viewpoints to it, because it means mentally I can say, right, I'm doing this today or I'm doing that. It avoids the confusion, because it does get that way. You forget what you're doing sometimes and where it's going. It just changes the way you film, what gear you need, what mindset you need.
Try 2 languages.
I can't even begin.
Good point,
But between those 2, it's still a minimum of 4, if not 5 or 6 videos a week. So that's still a lot of time.
that's a lot of content.
Insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's 16 years of basically it's still over every day for 16 years.
Over every day.
It's still it's
Unreal.
thousands and thousands and thousands of videos.
That's work
Should be
ethic for you.
applauded.
Yeah, for anyone who
Do like a
thinks...
sound effect.
Yeah, fantastic.
But not a sarcastic one, a genuine one.
Genuine one, like a slow clap.
You have to
You
go record
find
it.
another YouTuber out there that's done that. I'm not sure you could.
Yeah, well, I mean,
16 years over a day.
Yeah, over a video a day. Yeah.
I'm not. I'll be fascinated to know how many YouTubers that have done that.
Individuals, not
What's
like
your
corporates.
record
Yeah.
like over Geneva Motor Show or something? Because you used to run
Yeah.
around like crazy then.
That was
Yeah,
just
one
epic.
year was 81 videos in a Geneva Motor show.
81
In
videos.
how long?
2 days.
They were shorter
That's
than
a
today's videos.
that's a big
No, that's
production company.
insane.
No, but I remember seeing, and the process was, I would watch him film the video. The memory card would come straight out the video camera. It would go to someone that was basically waiting next to him. It would go off to get edited in a back room somewhere. By the time that video's on the internet, Tim's already shot another 4 videos from 4 other memory cards. So they're all getting simultaneously
my
edited up.
God.
Like, it was unbelievable.
I wrote out to buy the 5-minute plan for the days, so it was literally we knew exactly what we were doing. Anyway, it was a machine.
But how many cars in the garage now?
There are a few.
We understand why.
I was going to say those Geneva days became my of like you guys a couple of other projects, but the biggest project that takes up time is Exclusive Car Registry, which is kind of an enthusiast automotive platform turned into a data platform with a lot of interesting information about these cars that we love. So working with that and having a big team of now and growing it is consuming more time and trying to work it all out. But somehow it's all going very well, and the garage has a lot of cars in it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, too many. We all
How
lose
many?
track. But...
Do you say?
It goes up and down all the time. At the moment, I think it's 24, 25, maybe
That's
26.
outrageous.
Wow.
Outrageous.
I thought 3 was meant to.
Yeah, I remember when
It's
you
a
had the
full-time
2.
job servicing the things.
Yeah.
It
I'm not
literally
surprised.
is. Yeah, I think you
must
pay
be-
someone to do it, don't you?
It must be
literally is
something
a full-time
happening every
job.
week.
Yeah,
If you've got
yeah.
25 cars, something must happen every week.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
By the time you factor in every car gets a service every year, bunch of them swap back and forwards from winter to summer tires. Then you have all the things that get broken because they do. Whether it's punctures, whether it's smashed windshields, whether it's car has an issue. Add it all up, it's a lot.
It's a lot. Well, as you know, as I say, 10 years, things do develop. Obviously, we're still bashing out the main channel, but we have the driving tour business now, and of course, this podcast, which is very kindly supported by a lot of different people. But anyway, this has been, I think, everything we hoped and wanted it to be. Right, so far the trip is not over. You know, this we're recording this as we've just arrived into Monaco. I'm down here. Well, we're another day and a half, so you guys are sticking around for a little bit longer. So, and we've discussed it. We hope this is not the last time. It's not like a 10 year anniversary. Yeah, definitely not. So watch the space. And we've touched on all the other YouTubers and creators and people that have been characters over the years and that we've had on these trips or we've done it. So it'd be great to get so many different people involved and to not always need to celebrate another trip, just to do some more adventures together and collaborate. Yeah. So I think watch the space. Thank you all for sitting down at the long end of a very, very long day and before dinner to do one of these. I hope you all have enjoyed this kind of special episode. And yes, check out all the channels. I don't know what content's already online, more content still to come, but of course you know where to find all of these guys. Plenty of stuff to watch and enjoy on all the platforms.